Here we have another bug bounty video relating to case 2016 TAC 31323235. This time we're auditing the dungeon.northpolewonderland.com server, and we are looking at the rather static web page that it serves up. If you look here, doesn't appear to be any scripts, database interaction, nothing. It's just straight HTML. And what it appears to be is a manual for a game called Dungeon, which many of you will probably recognize better as Zork. But looking through this, I have played Zork quite a bit, and nothing about the North Pole or mischievous elves ever popped up in my playthroughs. So we need to figure something else out. We need to find another avenue of attack. And when I was interviewing the various elves, Minty suggested that we should nmap all servers that we're getting ready to audit, and nmap all ports and default scripts. So we have done that here. And we found, port 22 is open, a bunch of filtered stuff, port 80 is open, obviously. And we've got this very interesting 11111 open. So I'm going to use netcat, not telnet, but netcat to connect to that port, just to kind of see what it does and see what its behavior is. And here we have interesting, it looks like that port is running a terminal service of this game. So if you're familiar with Zork or Dungeon, this is what it looked like. And you could open the mailbox and you could read the leaflet if you want. And it has a little background on the game. Also the person that programmed it, and all of that's super swell. But short of having a lot of fun playing this game, I'm not sure beating it is going to do anything. And in fact, if we look back at our interview notes, Alabaster doesn't think that you can kill the Cyclops or get past it, but he does think there's a way to cheat. And it's difficult to cheat against something online, or at least find cheats for something online. It's much easier to find cheats for things offline. So luckily, Pepper has given us a local copy of Dungeon for us to play around with. And so we're going to do a couple things to it. The first thing I like to do to a binary file that I want all of the secrets from is run strings on it, just to kind of see what sort of ASCII stuff is laying around. It might give us some clues to, poke around while we're running it. So strings is showing us various libraries, functions, some C files that maybe it's calling or that are compiled into it. We got some, maybe these are items or locations. Here's some maybe dialogue or some feedback that the game gives to you. Now, this is interesting. Valid commands are, well, we have the valid commands right here. And none of these here look like these. And what this actually looks like is some sort of like cheat menu, or maybe like a debug interface. We'll have to look at that closer. But just kind of looking through the rest of it, none of this looks too great. That looks kind of interesting. But yeah, none of this none of this looks overly successful. So what we're going to do is we're going to use another one of the commands that I like to use against a binary. Uh, what ltrace does is it kind of pulls back the curtain a little bit for you. It shows what's going on behind the scenes in the application as it's running, which of course other debuggers like GDB can do, but really GDB is much better for interacting with the program while it's running, whereas ltrace just kind of gives you, like I said, that behind the scenes look of what the application is doing while it's running, and you just interact with the application normally. So, oh, well, that's interesting. Let's install ltrace. This is embarrassing. That's what happens when you use a brand new VM. There we go. Now let's try that again. And you will see all of this crazy stuff. This is various things going on in the background, but you can kind of see, here's welcome to dungeon, and this is a put car. So it's putting the characters welcome to dungeon, this version, whatever, onto the screen for you. And so you're seeing those calls. You're in an open field, etc. So we're going to do the same thing I did before. We're just going to open the mailbox when it asks for the fgets, when it runs the fgets. And we did that. Now let's see what happens when we did that. So we did the open mailbox. Here's its interpretation of it, which is open mailbox with a new line at the end of it. And then it converts each character to an uppercase. So then string compares the uppercase version of what we put in with GDT, which is interesting because if you recall, there was that prompt earlier in the strings output called GDT. So that's very interesting. Obviously, these two do not compare well, so it continues on doing whatever it wants to do, and then it gives it the output of opening mailbox reveals, and there's the leaflet. So we were expecting all this. Now, let's find out what happens when we do GDT. Once again, puts upper GDT. It compares GDT, and then it prints out this new prompt GDT. And we'll just say help. And now here's that prompt that we were looking at before. Seems to have various commands or cheats or hacks or something. Just kind of see what some of the stuff does. Display hacks. Well, that's weird looking stuff. I'm not really sure what that is. What about display text maybe? That looks like a good way to kind of see what's going on from within the game. Entry. Let's do one. This is welcome to dungeon. Okay, so we obviously want to play around with this some. We don't necessarily need all of this crazy ltrace stuff going on. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to run the game. And we're going to do GDT. And then we'll do that DT. So what it looks like it's doing is it's just giving us, various different strings within the game, which is nice because the strings command didn't necessarily give us all this. This could be information encoded in a different way or, held in a different file. So what I would like to do is kind of see what the upper range is on this. Okay, well, there's definitely not 2,000. Let's GDT. We'll do DT, and let's say 1,000. Okay, thief kills me in that whatever triggers that basically killed me. So let's not do that. What about like 1200. Okay, there's not 1200. What about like 1100? Nope. 11, like 1050, maybe. No. What about 1025? Okay. So we're right around there. So we'll try 1030. Nothing. 1026. We're in the elf area. All right. Appears impatient. So we're seeing output for the elf, and we're seeing what looks like it conquered the challenge, the game will end. Okay, so it's got to be, yeah, so that's the last thing. So let's work backwards then. So we did 27, 26, there's 25. Let's try 1024. Aha! So the elf is satisfied with whatever we traded to it, and obviously we didn't trade anything to it. Try the online version for the true prize. So what happens? Let's open up another terminal. And let's nc to dungeon.northpolewonderland.com on 11111. And do GDT. It works. Cool. Now let's do that 1024 one again. Oops. I keep doing that. Send an email to peppermint@northpolewonderland.com for that which we seek. Let's do that. Peppermint. So I have my private eye email here. And we'll send an email to peppermint@northpolewonderland.com. Found you in the game. The game said, have a prize for me. All right, so I don't know how long this is going to take. But I imagine North Pole probably on all the time, and that was fast. Here we go. Track me down. Of that, I have no doubt. I won't get upset to avoid the inevitable bout. You have what you came for. All right, so they definitely want to rhyme, but it looks like we have a discombobulated audio. So let's give this a listen. All right, more of that messed up audio. I'm going to go ahead and download that and we'll move on.